The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
What is happening, everybody? Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is. What's happening for you? I'm your host, the Appalachian American. It is December. That means Christmas. I'm excited. Aren't you excited? I'm excited. Joining me, as always, is my left-hand man, the author, David Applegate.
G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to another men's room. And I hope you sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Yeah. He's a doctor. I don't know what of. Dr. Coffindale.
Good evening.
I think he's froze. Is he froze?
Just like this. Uh-oh.
I can hear you, but your visuals froze.
Oh, great.
Just talk.
Well, good evening, and I would tell our advertisers to go F themselves, but this is not my channel.
Last but not least, he's the channel dad. Crickets. Anyway. Hi, I'm Brian Lape. I like to drink beer and stuff. I've got dogs and they go out like 8 times an hour. Hello? Yeah, I live in a rural area, and I also play out on skis. But you can check me out down below in the link. Oh, hey, welcome, Late. What's going on, man? It's Christmas. How are you guys? David's like, David had to go do something real quick.
I'm doing great. I'm ready for Christmas. I don't have my present spot yet, but I'm certainly ready for it.
Yeehaw.
Sort of got Christmas ready. I just noticed it's gotten dark all of a sudden. I just looked outside and went, holy cow, huge clouds just come and parked itself overhead.
You don't have tornadoes down there, do you? You have a tornado warning, do you?
No. But we are just on the southern end of the cyclone belt, but...
My hair looks too good to like be covered up, so yeah.
My face looks too good to be covered up.
Enjoy it while you can, sir.
Oh yeah, well, I forgot how that goes. So what's going on? How's everybody's day, week? 2 weeks actually, man. It's been 2 weeks. Last week I had some stuff going on and just could not make it. So, yeah.
And Late still hasn't come back from letting the dogs out. It's been 2 weeks, Late.
He's got like 8 dogs, and he's got to take them out like 5 times an hour.
No, he's taking
something
out
like
the
that.
windows, scoping them in,
Yeah.
So, you were saying telling the advertisers to go F themselves. Yeah, but Disney, you can give us FU money. We'll say,
dude, I wish that was the case.
Yeah.
I saw it last week. That was an interesting interview. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I did see parts of it. I saw some of Bob Iger's comments behind it.
Yeah. Now, if you analyze everything Bob Iger said, it's just horseshit, right? He has not given any substantive action that he's going to take. Just the usual corporate speak that we're looking into it. Mm-hmm. We're going to produce, but we're looking at changes to be made. We're behind the scenes. And he's blaming the lack of executive oversight. I'm sorry, but wasn't it executive meddling that forced all these diversity hires in the first place?
Probably.
Isn't he the executive oversight?
Yes, probably. And he's basically and he's blaming, and he threw Bob Chapek on the bus saying,
Mhm.
well, under previous management, Bob,
Right.
you were previous management.
Yeah.
From what I heard, he never really left when Chapek was there either.
No. Hey,
he was
I'm gonna
over-
step
he
away
in
and
the
shut this
board.
door real
He was
quick. I'll be
kind of
right
always
back.
behind
Yeah.
the scenes.
Yeah, he was he was going beyond Bob Chapek's back and saying, no, don't change anything. Don't listen to Bob Chapek. I'm in charge. Don't change anything. Like, nothing Bob ever proposed ever got changed. The thing is, when Bob came back in, he did all the cuts and then blamed Chapek, saying, oh, I couldn't stop it. It was Chapek's cuts. That's a lie.
What's a lie?
Well, everything Bob Iger's claiming going on at Disney is a lie.
Oh,
the
yeah.
big, I forget his name, but he's the biggest shareholder now, individual shareholder. He's got a huge takeover bid coming. I think that's his next step. He's asking for more.
Yeah.
He's asking the board for more time, but I think his legal action is just basically he's going to take out one by one. I think he's going to do everything he can to force out each individual board member, hold them accountable for anything and everything they can, because he must have watched my video, because I said, look, he's come to the conclusion that the only thing that's going on is that the executives at Disney are robbing the shareholders, right? There's no way some of these projects are justified for $200 million.
And they all failed to make money.
Well, actually, of the 10 failed projects, Ant-Man and Quantumania and Guardians of the Galaxies did make money, but not enough to justify their huge budgets. Like, if their budget was slashed by $100 million, they wouldn't be considered failures. But yeah, they're considered failures because they didn't break the threshold. Right. They'll get their money back, but that's it. They won't have profit. It doesn't justify the bonuses that were paid. And if there's no executive oversight, how come you can go through the executive producers and see Disney executives? They're all just paying themselves.
It doesn't make a whole lot of
money.
sense.
Yeah, who knows, man? I mean, this stuff is so astronomically stupid that, like, what,
But Godzilla at $15 million proved that big budgets are a scam.
Yep. How much was that? Was that made for the Japanese?
The Japanese
Godzilla -1, right?
executives, right? Godzilla -1 was allegedly
I want to see
made
that
for
really
15
bad.
million.
I'm not a very big Godzilla fan. I have respect for it. It's just not my thing.
You didn't watch those
I wouldn't
when
be
you were a
opposed to
kid?
what? Do what?
You didn't watch all those when you were a kid on TV or anything?
No, I did have a VHS. Early 90s. I'm not exactly. I think it was. No, wait a minute. Maybe it was like early 2000s, because I remember it. I'm pretty sure it's a Godzilla 2000.
Okay, that one cost
that one is
160
okay.
million.
Yeah, it was a VHS. It was like 2 VHSs in one box.
I don't know if this is true of Dave or Brian, but when I was a kid, those movies were on TV all the time, and I would catch them. I would watch them when I was a kid. There were like over 20 of them even when I was a kid, and I watched them a lot. And I mean, I think you have to have that to get as excited about that as I am. You have to have that background. You're not going to enjoy it as much as something like that. So
yeah, it's the 33rd Godzilla movie. If you basically, at this time, I know they're only making movies for Godzilla or other fans, but it's like Skull Island. Skull Island did bring in a lot of normies, so did the original remake of Godzilla. Godzilla, that was actually a remake of the original. That brought in a lot of people. But the problem since then, the monster movies, people are just, normies only like familiar. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They only like familiar, which is
Right.
But you compare seed for seed, shot for shot with, say, Godzilla and the Marvels, and you cannot believe that for 1/15 of the budget,
Mhm.
they had better CGI, better color control,
Yeah,
better
that's
staffing, better background management, everything about the movie
look at the
production.
trailer on that Godzilla on Godzilla -1. It looks the CGI. It looks like there's really a giant lizard coming out of the water. I mean, and then you look at the CGI in the Marvels. It looks like garbage. I mean, I haven't seen. I'm only talking about the trailers. I haven't seen either of those films yet. But
Yeah. Hey, you guys want to see something funny?
Yeah.
Apparently, Alex Jones decided to hold up Chris Christie's underwear.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever laughed this hard on air. Oh my god!
Oh my god! Look at where his belt is at. Like,
Yeah.
it's literally his arms. It's past his arm.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Boiler Greg? How you doing, dude? I see you in the chat. He says Godzilla -1 is awesome. Why is it -1? I don't understand that.
It's kind of like go ahead, Dave.
World War II reset Japan to year 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla set us back another year. We are now at -1. They're saying that Godzilla is going to send us back to the Stone Age, basically. They're systematically destroying Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's back to the original. Godzilla is the protagonist. Is the protagonist and antagonist of his own movie. So,
right.
Gotcha. Okay.
And didn't the guy that did this movie, the director, the writer, whoever, he put Godzilla in another movie? It was like a fantasy sequence. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
And he's done Godzilla work before. Yes, he's a veteran of Godzilla. Yes. And monster movies and animations. Apparently, he's like well respected. He's done a lot of work in many fields and many areas. He's not that old either. He's I believe in his 50s. But the thing is, when he was making this was like not a reboot, but not a reimagining, but basically saying, this is Godzilla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is is something else.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the first, if you see it, this is the people's first time seeing Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
right.
They're ignoring the reboot, even though this movie is now the 33rd movie to be canonized as part of Godzilla lore.
Well, there's at least 2 or 3 continuities within Toho, because there's like the Showa era, which were the classic goofy monster suit era, which went up through like 75, and then they did Godzilla 85, which is when they kind of rebooted it the first time.
That's the Godzilla Tokyo, right? I think was the first one. Then they did Philippines. Then they moved to the Philippines. But yeah, 85 was the last one made in Tokyo until the 90s, I think.
Right. Oh, I didn't know that, but yeah, I knew that.
Yeah,
I knew there's several different, and then I've seen almost all of them. I haven't seen Shin Godzilla, and I haven't seen a few others, but
no, I believe this is the first time in a decade or something they've returned to the studio. Basically, they're saying they have an agreement now with the different rights owners. Each rights owners gets to make their movie, but so after this, somebody else will make a Godzilla movie so they're basically, nobody's taking money off each other. Nobody's saying your movie isn't canon, our movie is not canon. But he's saying his movie is his continuity, right? He's not linked back to any of the others.
Right. Well, it just looks really
is the start of his continuity for Godzilla.
I mean, apparently even the human storylines are good, because they got The main character is like a failed kamikaze pilot that chickened out, and he's got that over his head, and he's got, it takes place during 1947, so there's like Cold War stuff going on with the Russians. So I mean, it just sounds really interesting to me, anyway.
So, apparently, breaking news: Elon Musk has reached out to Alex Jones about reinstating his Twitter.
Oh wow!
Yes, he held a poll whether or not he should be allowed back on, and somebody asked questions: what if he does another? I don't know. We can say the word, where he got sued for making allegations about a certain event, which he couldn't back up, and later in court, his own wife called him a nut job.
Well, he's kind of nutty, but he's also
responded
very
with,
entertaining.
Well, community notes.
The crazy thing about it is that Elon Musk wants to sit there and talk about how that people deserve a right to have a fair and honest discussion. Yet he maintained the blocking of Alex Jones.
Right.
Yes.
So but how do you have fair and fair discussion without that?
You can't. That's what a lot of people are saying. You can't.
I think that's why he's going to discuss it with him.
Well, I believe Tucker interviewed Alex Jones over this, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, I haven't got that far yet.
Free speech and silencing. I haven't seen it either yet. But apparently he has asked about free speech and silencing. But in the promo, he says you have to watch it.
Well, there's still a lot of people whose Twitter is banned. I mean, I've been kind of disappointed in Elon. I mean, I like what happened recently, but I mean, which I'm sure you're going to go over.
Elon is under pressure. All right, he's been told, right, he could say and do certain things. Like he could use Twitter to promote SpaceX. He could use Twitter to promote Tesla. But if he wants to do these crazy antics, at the end of the day, he's got to foot the bill, right? He can't ask for more money.
Right.
So his investors are happy for him to do it as long as it's his money he continues to use. They wanted a free speech platform, and they understand that's what they're getting. But it's not there yet. That's what I think. I forget who said it, but people have said it. We're not there yet. And it's not Elon. It's Twitter and his own appointees who are now fighting back against him, saying, no, we can't. We're losing advertisers if we do this and we do that. And he's saying to them, tell them to go fuck themselves. If Bob calls you and says, we'll advertise if you do this, your response is, go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Now, it comes back to the argument. Well, I forget which constitutional amendment it is, but, the freedom of association. The advertisers are free to choose who they advertise with. The advertiser is free to refuse their business. It's a double-edged sword that most advertisers, like the New York Times, have decided, no, we'll sell out. And we'll sell.
Yeah.
And I mean, the New York Times isn't profitable, by the way. I believe it gets, forget how much, like 20 million or something a year. And basically, it rents out offices. Basically, that's the only way it can support itself, is renting out its office space.
Right.
Yeah, print
and it doesn't seem. I have a feeling that they will be that talking about publications that'll go. I mean, one by one, they seem to be dropping.
Well, the question is, which one will go first? LA Times, New York Times, or the Washington Post?
Washington Post.
After Jeff Bezos, I think Jeff Bezos hasn't got long. I think the government's going to pull the plug. I think I think once Congress has come up with the new budget, I think a lot of these big, well, you might as well call them subsidies to Amazon will go, because it's costing America billions of dollars a month to keep Jeff Bezos a billionaire. And that's not right. That's not fair to the taxpayer.
Right.
His business, according to Business Insider, Jeff Bezos has never been profitable in his life. Never. Everything he touches turns to shit. And yet he fails upwards constantly, because he's very good at talking people into giving him money. And he's made a lot of people rich and happy, but it's been because government money and other investors keep pouring money in. But eventually people are going to stop pouring money in Amazon because the
Why
government
would they?
is-
I mean, seriously though, Amazon's such a hassle. You don't get things the way you used to. There's really no point in having Amazon anymore.
no,
Talking about deliveries or?
Yeah, dude, the deliveries suck.
Well, I've noticed the last several times I ordered a Blu-ray, they're all smashed up and looks like somebody used them as a hockey puck. So I mean, it's like then at least 2 I've had to repurchase. So it's like I try not to buy from them unless I really have to.
People are, but here on the other end, right? A lot of people in the back end are saying they get to a certain size, right? And their profitability goes way down, because Amazon will say, "Hi, Greg." Amazon will come along and say, "Well, you're a big business now. You have to warehouse so much stuff with us, or we'll go with your opposition." Like, they basically blackmail people into using their warehousing, and they take half of people's money every month. And then they say, "Oh, offsite advertising, we're taking 15% commission." Delivery. You want premium delivery? You have to pay us X amount of dollars a month to get. It's ridiculous. They're just basically, the thing is, they're losing $6 billion a month, and that's unsustainable.
I didn't realize they were in that bad a shape
Without
financially.
Without Amazon Web Services and government contracts, that's where their loss. That's why their losses disappear, because the government contracts take them back up. But those government contracts for web services, even Microsoft, like if you went with Microsoft, allegedly the dearest in the market, you go, wait a minute, why is everybody using Amazon Web Services? They're claiming they're doing it because Microsoft is dearer, but you look at Microsoft, they're 40% cheaper. Why is Amazon getting such a, the Microsoft contract was $23 million a year, and I'm like, what's the Amazon contract? Like hundreds of millions of dollars a year? Nobody seems to figure out why, and nobody can answer, and Congress can't get answers because it's classified, and most of it's the Pentagon. So basically,
What?
Oh, sorry, it's just dry throat. Basically, Jeff Bezos, right, is probably the most successful swindler in the history of swindling governments out of money. He gets contracts for office chairs, pens, pencils, paper, anything and everything. He's basically the go-to guy and yet everybody says, well, that's because he's basically Mr. Million. You give him a contract, he gives you $1 million,
Is he the guy that built that giant super yacht that he couldn't even get out of the peninsula that he needed, or couldn't even get it to the ocean without asking a country to tear down its historic bridge or something? And they basically told him,
and that cost him $200 million.
Oh my God.
Well, it cost you $200 million. Yeah.
He's passing the
Yeah,
savings
the
on us, is what
Netherlands.
you're saying.
But that super yacht is super ugly, and he rents it out. The only one who's rented it out so far has been Beyonce for a weekend. Sits in the Bahamas, losing $1 million a month or something in mooring fees. Hasn't even been on it. It just sits there. I think he's
Crazy.
a brat with money. You know what I mean? He's never had. He grew up poor. He grew up entitled. He had a good idea, and if he just stuck with being a bookstore, I think he would have been moderately successful. But Amazon Web Services and the contracts he got from the government just went to his head, and he just basically started talking people into giving him more and more money for more and more projects. Let's see. There's what's his name? Yeah, for 30 billion, 43% increase. Despite the fact they had a 43% increase in turnover, they lost $2.7 billion. So they had a massive increase in sales. Their debts are just growing, you know. And one of the reasons is he was Mr. 15. Remember?
No, I'll be right back.
15?
My kids are hollering for me.
Yeah, go ahead. You remember the $15 minimum wage? Jeff Bezos say, yeah, do it, man. I'll do it. I'll be the first. And he had Gavin Newsom and all the others appear with him. And well, as you know, 15 minimum wage costs 40,000 jobs in California alone because people weren't willing to pay $20 for a hamburger. What a surprise, right? But Amazon, well, they're losing money. They shifted their jobs, their $15 per hour jobs to Mexico. Whoa, what a shock, right? And that's why things are taking longer to deliver.
Yeah, but didn't they unionize or tried to or whatever?
Yeah, Amazon unionized in California.
Yeah, because
they moved completely all the jobs to Mexico. Yeah, now they're unemployed. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Well,
and you guys were talking about Musk. His businesses aren't profitable either. His government contracts and subsidies is what keeps Tesla afloat.
Isn't it amazing? All the biggest players are all government contractors.
Yeah.
And before you say, but what about L'Oreal? They're not going. How is that government contracted? Well, they're a chemical company. They're masquerading as a perfume company.
Yeah.
They're actually a chemical company that produce ammonium nitrate for the military, and they're one of the biggest producers of ammonium nitrate. Last time I checked, that wasn't used in perfume, right? Last time I checked, it was used to make artillery shells, right? Oh, propellant for artillery.
Yeah.
Yeah, L'Oreal is a chemical company masquerading. It's the same with Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton really does not make its money from handbags. It makes its money selling uniforms, socks, and satchels to the French military, backpacks, boots, etc. Yeah. Government contracts. All the biggest companies are not profitable without government contracts.
Yeah.
And they don't become big companies without them.
Well, no, that's how they become big, and then your government-sponsored loans, because otherwise the banks wouldn't loan them money to merge with other groups.
Yeah,
and that's part of the whole scam with, is the government going to approve a merger or not? It's really, do they want to back that loan or not?
No, it's no.
Do we have the CEO's vote or do we not? And then, oh look, It's like Disney buying up, they were buying everything in sight. They weren't profitable enough to buy any of that crap.
Mhm.
Now in there, it's starting to fold because it's got its own gravity well now. It's so big. So it's folding in on
Mhm.
itself.
Yeah, but didn't they buy Pixar with money given to them by the Pentagon to make movies, which they never made?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
But their acquisition of Fox was
funded by
yeah.
other
I
companies.
can't believe that there's not an antitrust lawsuit at this point. How can they own Fox?
Well,
and
it got approved.
Pixar
So it goes before
There
the
was an antitrust.
FTC.
There was,
and
but
then
there's so many provisions to override these things.
yeah, pass enough money
Wonderful.
under the table, you can get anything approved.
Congressional approval, just congressional approval, executive approval, you name it. You can
like
have
extending the copyrights like 50 years past when they shouldn't for all those characters that they have.
Hey, look, Senator, $10 million just showed up in your re-election campaign. It's anonymous donations, but it's still on hold by the bank. Are you going to sign that? Yeah.
By the way, yeah. No, what usually happens is that's what the assistant says. You don't buy the senator, you buy the assistant who comes in and says, Senator, we've got all these big donations today, but before I can process them, I need these bills signed.
Yeah.
Because what was it? They're saying that all these fundraisers, they get what, 1% or something? Like the senator doesn't raise $10 million. He raises his campaign raises, and his campaign fundraisers get funded out of that pool of money. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh no, yeah, they don't get any of that money directly.
No, they don't.
They get
all of it.
They get it through insider trading and lucrative deals, and
that $10 million goes to their campaign, and their campaign manager gets a 1%, which is why they're usually the senator's assistant who's getting bills signed.
Yeah. And if
Whereas
they don't make
the
it
senator,
that way,
when he's signing all these bills, there's all these notes on them saying profit projection.
Yeah.
Next month we expect to make this much.
And people retire from the government, go to work for private industry. They helped get that bill passed, and look what company they're working for.
And they're usually carrying a big ticket item saying, well, my predecessor, if you don't hire me, my replacement is going to tear this bill up.
Right.
Which is how Nikki Haley got her, 5-year contract or whatever it is with Grumman.
Yeah.
Oh, my predecessor will kick you out of the state if I don't get hired. Sorry, my replacement, whatever. My successor.
Successor, yeah.
Yes, I meant successor. Yeah, my successor will kick you out of the state if you don't hire me, because that's how the gravy train works. You don't bribe the senator, you bribe their family, their friends, their associates, and then when the senator retires, they in turn give them a job, or they get a consulting job, and their guarantee is that if you don't give them a job, the next guy in office isn't going to do anything for you, because that means the gravy train is over.
All right, what are we talking about?
Gravy trains.
Is Lape actually here?
No.
Yes.
Yep.
What?
You missed it.
Been here the whole time.
You missed the return of Lape.
Wow.
Been here. Does it say when I started chatting in the thing now?
It just says. I mean, I see the private chat.
Yeah.
You didn't feel bothered to be here for the introduction or anything?
I was out with the dogs.
I knew it.
I got 2 of them in, but one of them was like, just come and get me. Come on. You can do it, old man. I got the treat bag and everything out there. I don't know. There was something howling out to the east. I don't know if it was wolves or coyotes, but it was
what did it sound like?
Didn't sound like a
coyote.
Yeah, it did not sound like a
Sounded
dog.
like a man who just didn't quite make it over the fence.
Yeah, there's
So,
been a lot of deer around here recently too. So I don't know.
Yeah. What were we talking about? I had to go deal with some throwing up kids.
Government gravy train. You don't buy the senator, you buy their staff. And when the senator leaves office, he takes all that information and says, well, you won't get anything done. My successor won't sign any bills unless you give me this job.
Gotcha.
It started with antitrust conversation with Disney.
Antitrust laws, basically how they're overridden by various politicians.
It started entertainment related, you know.
Yeah. Hey, what do you guys think about Martin Luther King Jr.'s house almost getting set on fire?
What? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I want to know more about that young lady, that white supremacist flag, rebel flag waving black woman. What did she think she was doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing? No,
Yeah,
that's gasoline.
I think it was 2 off-duty cops that subdued her.
It was. It was. That
was a black woman doing that.
It was, and you know that would have.
God.
The media would have said, "Oh, someone tried to burn down Martin Luther King Jr.'s house. You know, let's riot."
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some white supremacist, that's would have been the headline. And then once they figure out who it was, there'd been a slight retraction. Well,
retraction on page 50.
Right. Well, they would try to paint her like Larry Elder and call her the black face of white supremacy or something.
Yeah, she was internalized, you know, or
internalized white supremacy. Yeah. Victim of internalized white supremacy.
Yeah.
That's diabolical, man. That'll get you every time. That internalized racism.
Yeah.
Or Kendrick would come out and say she was trying to erase a white supremacist who was selling out the black man, you know. He was a Republican. He was selling out he sold us out to the white man, you know. But they hate white people so much they move to white neighborhoods. Isn't that right?
Reminds me of the guy that broke into Rosa Parks's apartment, beat her, robbed her, and didn't even know who she was, and he was a black gentleman.
Yeah.
But he was internalized.
Stuff like this is just like, what in the world is going on?
Well, it's basically
have they determined what her motive is? Is she given any motive for doing that?
Why? Get some attention. That's the motive.
It's the MK Ultra on society. Some people are starting to reject their programming.
I guess so.
I think so.
It's the fluoride in the water. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I keep seeing these videos getting shared on Twitter for these, I guess they're Instagram videos or something of what they call the dinks, you know, the dual income, no kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there people are making fun. I'm like, all they want is attention. And that's exactly what you're doing by sharing the videos. It's like you're doing what they want. Stop it.
Yeah, the only way to stop MK Ultra is to stop sharing the videos, to stop talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
The people who set these fires, they do it because if you're black in Baltimore, you set a fire, the worst you could probably suffer is $500 fine, but you get your name and BLM. If you walk into court and say, I'm BLM, the Baltimore Times will run an article with your name saying BLM activist. And BLM activist is the only way to get on the Baltimore Democrat ticket.
Pretty much.
And it's the same getting in Chicago. You look at Mayor Lightfoot's executive assistant. He's now executive assistant to the current wanker. He's been there longer than the last 3 mayors, you know. He was brought in by Ron Manuel, I think. And he's a former gang member.
Well, that means he's an expert. You know, it's like putting Kennedy in charge of the SEC. Using a crook to catch a crook. Yeah, Joe Kennedy, Joe Pa. Yeah, Papa Joe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Papa Joe. Although Bobby says Papa Joe was not bootlegging for the mafia. He owned warehouses. What those warehouses have that you could afford 9 kids to go to private school during the middle of the Depression.
Corn,
Exactly. Corn.
corn, and barley, and rye.
Some hops. Some
It was
rye.
just a cereal factory, David. What's your problem?
Yeah. A cereal factory. What do you mean? Well, we have serial killers.
Yeah. No, but a lot of it's to also just, again, this is a means of control, divide people. So encouraging deviant
Organized crime
behavior.
is
So
Yeah,
that's what they're
organized
talking
crime.
about.
Yeah, organized crime is a hidden tax on the people, and you don't understand. And until you understand how search and seizures and the crime acts and the RICO acts all work, you'll actually understand the Libyan point of view that a fine is merely paying the government for permission.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, what do you think about the indictment of Hunter Biden? 9 additional indictments.
Some about 46 years in prison.
Not
I'll
17.
believe he's in prison when I see the story that he's in prison.
Yeah.
When you see
According
him
to the latest deal,
orange
to the latest deal, he'll be sentenced to 17, served 10 in Club Fed, and owe an additional 1.7, although it's been talked down now to $1.4 million in additional taxes that he's foregoing. But the jail time depends on the judgment. And in the meantime, he's holding back on the money, saying if he gets no jail time, you'll have the money tomorrow.
Yeah. I think it's just to make the indictments on Trump look non-political to the normies.
Because,
and maybe a secondary thing is to get Joe to not run, because they're trying to get Joe to not run and he won't step aside. So they could make a backdoor deal. Hey, Joe, we'll do this. You can pardon your son, but you can't run.
But he can't pardon his son legally.
And then when
I can.
Yeah. And then when Hunter it'll make the papers that he went to jail. He'll serve 6 months, and then they'll just let him out a little bit quieter than they did OJ.
Yeah.
But actually, I think they'll sentence him to a year in a drug facility.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It'll make the papers.
They have to hold him for at least 9 months for the election, right?
Yeah.
So they'll sentence him to a drug facility or something.
I'm fairly certain if they get Biden to go along to not do the nomination.
But he has to not. I think he has to give it to RFK, which he refuses.
Well, no, they won't let RFK even on the ballot.
No,
that's why he's running independent. I mean, the Democrat Party's already said you can't even be on the
you can't even use
primary
the D.
ballot.
Yeah, you can't even use the D anymore. I think he's been thrown out of the party, hasn't he? By his sisters, his 2 sisters, didn't they denominate him or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Why is his sisters running the party? I do not know. But yeah, apparently 2 of the Kennedys are on the board or whatever of the DNC, and they're pretty much making moves to have him kicked out.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, they definitely don't want another Bernie Sanders, and unlike Bernie, they can't pay him off.
But Bernie Sanders is a crook, and that's why they don't want him, because he'll be worse than Joe.
Yeah, but they made him a millionaire, and he just quietly sat down and enjoys the spoils.
Third lake house, come on. He's a good socialist. He's got private property, just like all the other good socialists in government.
I mean, Kennedy's just his track record of suing Big Pharma is like, how do you call yourself?
Why they hate him? Yeah.
Well, it's like, how do you call yourself a Democrat or a Republican, really, or an he's a non-establishment Democrat,
non-establishment,
I guess.
Yeah.
because that's part of the myth of the Democrat Party, and it was mostly his uncle and his father, that version of the Democrat Party that people hold on to, and the rest, it's been a myth for well over 100 years. Once the progressives took over both parties,
well, they started in the Republican Party, but then it failed with Barry Goldwater, and they
it failed earlier than that. It failed.
No,
when
I'm
Roosevelt...
saying that some of the current, like 50 plus, like the Hillary Clinton era mob, they were the leftovers from Barry Goldwater. You know, they were. She was, however, she already was. She was anti-establishment for a long time.
Well, yeah, she was so crooked she got kicked off the Watergate committee.
Yeah, and Nixon's daughter was right. If it ever went to trial, that's the first thing they would have brought up, and it would have been thrown out. Her father had an answer for everything, not because he was a guilty guy sitting down. He was an innocent man who was being framed systematically by his chief of staff, working with the head of the FBI and the head of the Democrat Party.
Yeah. Well,
and Nixon had all the tapes. He had all the tapes. Though they were illegally obtained, yes, but so were the tapes on Nixon. So, two wrongs may not make a right, but the Democrat Party was illegally tapping Nixon.
Yeah. Well, the establishment was looking to get rid of him, so they had to get Spiro Agnew out of the
way.
way.
Well, they wanted revenge for him shutting down the Vietnam War.
Yeah, because Agnew was like he was, so they had to get rid of him and put Ford in, and then it was a long coup. But I'm talking about, the progressives kind of lost in the Republican Party with Teddy Roosevelt, and he doesn't get the nomination. He splits the vote. He comes back, but and they just kind of drifted for a while. The conservatives did, and
still, somewhere between 40 and 60% of conservatives, they're the bigger swing vote than the swing vote. Some up to 40% of conservatives vote Democrat.
Yeah, no, my grandfather was one. And my step grandmother, they believed in a Democrat Party that never existed, ever. That was a big myth for decades.
I don't know how they sell that big myth though, but I guess it's because most people don't look at history.
Yeah, well, FDR was a flat-on socialist, and he won 4 times without cheating. How does that work?
Because actually, he did cheat 4 times.
I mean, once he threatened to pack the Supreme Court, disobey the Constitution, he should have been impeached and thrown out of office for that alone.
Well, according to historians, FDR was the most corrupt president America ever had.
Oh, I believe that.
He was never elected fairly. He had the Teamsters and the dock workers, and he had said he was the one who established the big rig, and they call it the big rig. Where FDR had the socialists all across America stuffing ballots up to 10,000 per box. He was the first one to get vote rigging in every state.
Or enough anyway.
Well, 38 states, don't forget, it was enough, yeah.
Because you just need to get, well, in some ways too, you just need to get people thinking that, oh, that's the front runner. I'm going to vote for him because he's the popular guy.
Yeah, because he had the media making him out to be the popular guy. He had the unions attacking companies that supported anybody but him. He had every angle covered, so that by the time it came to election, nobody questioned the vote.
Yeah. Now, did Truman run for re-election?
Yeah, he tried to.
Did he lose?
Truman tried to run as the Freedom Party and lost.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But he never even got on the above 1%, so he got taken off the ballot basically. Yeah. But Roosevelt needed the Southern Democrats, so they did a deal to put Truman into VP.
Yeah. Okay.
Truman tried several times to get his other Freedom Party in, but Roosevelt only paid lip service to the KKK in so much to get certain things passed, and he gave them what they wanted in the South. But Roosevelt often worked with the Republicans to get the KKK shut down as a means of controlling them.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like in the 90s, the militia movement in the States was pretty much a Fed-run operation. They infiltrated them.
Well, since the
leadership.
1890s, it's been run by the Feds.
Yeah. But I mean, these were the independent militias. They were the
the Three Percenters and all that all claimed to be
Yeah.
And then, hey, Mr. Epps, weren't you one of the founders of the Three Percenters?
Yeah. Anyway, you got any entertainment stuff to chat about, Seth? I got a hard stop at 10 o'clock, by the way. I got to be up.
Oh, what's
really
Owen?
Oh wow!
I got a ski. I got
Do
a
what?
ski patrol. Ski patrol starts tomorrow, man.
Ski
Ski
Patrol.
And at least
Ooh.
it's
Hey.
today. I got to do tomorrow and
GTA
Sunday.
trailer dropped early.
Yeah.
What's your what's your ski patrol looking like on the 29th?
Ski patrol.
Of December?
Yeah.
I won't have because my wife's out of town, so I purposely did not sign up for those days.
All
That's
right,
why I
cool.
have-
I might get you to.
I've got-
get you to host.
Okay, that's why I've got back to back this weekend, and then we have to do a Saturday day, a Sunday day, and a Saturday night each month. And so next weekend I have Saturday night, which I'm not looking forward to. And then my wife's visiting her sister, and then she's visiting for like a few days. Then she's going to Cincinnati to see the kids and see my parents. So she'll be gone 2 weekends in a row.
Gotcha.
So the 22nd through whatever. Yeah. So I'll be done with it by the 16th, and then I won't
Cool.
patrol again until January.
Hey, and don't forget there's Comic-Con in February, and they're gonna be Scott Steiner's gonna be there.
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't seen the boy. The boy's got a new trailer out. I haven't seen it yet. I had a phone call this morning. Otherwise, I would have seen it and talked about it. But I just got a story on Disney. Rachel Zellweger says that she now realizes that she made a terrible mistake, and after viewing the original Snow White, she is in love with Snow White and everything
of course.
Disney has done.
Of
And
course.
if you believe that, would you like to buy a bridge?
A little too late
Yeah.
for that.
And didn't they already cancel that?
Allegedly,
They canceled that movie?
Allegedly, it's not canceled. It's rescheduled for 2025
Oh,
for shooting.
momentary
Basically,
pause.
effectively canceled. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're smart. They'll just keep rescheduling it into infinity
And beyond.
because nobody's going to watch that at this
Oh,
point.
Didn't the director? Didn't they lose the director?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
They've lost so many. It's hard to keep track. But isn't She-Hulk cancelled, or is that still rescheduled?
I think that's canceled.
Yeah, I don't know
What about the
how.
new Spider-Man? Sorry, yeah, how did it even get approved? But I guess that was just the payoff, right? Approve the project, give her a payment, and then shut it down.
I reckon.
No, I just wonder how Disney's even making payments on the $4 billion that they had to borrow to buy Star Wars, let alone Fox and everything else.
BlackRock, remember they took out $6
Yeah.
billion in private loans from, from investors.
I'm guessing they own a lot of property they can sell off if they really need to.
Does this mean
But don't forget, Disney's one of the biggest porn producers in the world. They have Pink Investments. They own shares in Pink Investments.
I did not know that.
I don't even know
No,
what
there's a
Pink
lot of stuff that
investments
Disney invested in.
are. I don't know if I want to know what. Is that a porn producer
Yes.
or backer? I guess.
Huh.
Okay.
It's allegedly that Disney investment, that's where they get their $3 billion a month from.
Oh.
Well, porn is paying big then, because
Does Victoria's Secrets have to pay for that? Is that on their all their pink products?
the claim is that Disney owned Pornhub. No, they have they have an investment company in Cyprus, which invests heavily in the porn, which Disney are heavily invested in. That's exactly how it works. Disney Porn. Yes, Disney does actually directly own a porn producer.
Why am I not surprised?
But they're mostly invested through Disney Holdings in Cyprus, which invests and also a Canadian private equity fund, which directly owns Pornhub. Disney does not directly own Pornhub and many other companies, but they are tied to the pornographic industry.
Yeah, there's layer
through
upon
their
layer.
Cyprus investments and I think it's Toronto investments and Keystone investments.
Indirection upon indirection.
So they can claim they don't directly own porn companies, but they do.
Well, they own a stake in it.
Yeah.
Probably privately held shares.
Yes.
Dividend payouts.
Apparently, a lot of Disney executives have a lot of privately owned shares and a lot of investments in private equity firms, which means they don't have to declare what they're invested in.
Yeah. Well, it's whatever the private equity firm invests in. Right?
Which is private. They get a form saying that our investments have paid off. Here's a check.
Yeah, I get my 8.5%. I don't care where it comes from, right? Or whatever. Just the number I pulled out of my butt. I don't know.
It depends on your investment. Yeah, private equity, you buy a stake in a fund, not actually without knowing what it's in. Just says this fund makes this much money last year. Would you like to? Somebody's retiring. Would you like to buy a stake?
Yeah,
that's the thing. You can't get you have to wait for somebody to die to buy a share. You know, they're not publicly traded, and you have to be recommended. You can't just walk up to a private equity firm and invest.
Gotcha.
But would it surprise you that Saudi Arabia, Finland, and Denmark, and many other countries have large stakes as well as Disney in these private equity firms?
Oh no, that
I don't know anything about
me.
private equity firms. I have no clue how any of that stuff goes.
Basically, they keep your investments secret from the world. So if somebody says this company's has child labor, you can say, "Not my company. I'm invested in XYZ private equity firm."
Yep.
It's
right,
not
Lee, but
Nike that has
you gotta
child
go.
labor. Yep.
Yep.
What's the story about Owen?
Oh, he's finally out. Not that Lape cares. Lape doesn't like him.
He's apparently
Owen?
Yeah, he's growing a nice beard. Owen
Owen Schroyer. We bring up Owen Schroyer and Lape's like,
don't care.
No, it's just his show. He tries to be a junior Alex Jones and talk about himself for 3 hours instead of the news. That's all. It's
Oh yeah.
What's the name again? Evan Troyer?
Owen
Schroyer.
Owen. Yes, he was jailed for his speech. So even if you don't like him, the reason he was in prison is complete and utter.
Is he in the UK or something?
No, he's in the US.
He
He's
was
on
jailed
Alex
for his
Jones.
speech?
Like he's
misdemeanor.
He's part of Infowars.
But he's also part of the War Room with he's got 3 employers. He does
the War Room is his show.
War Room is his show. Yeah,
but his show's on Infowars.
But he's also employed
on
by
the channel.
KXFN Radio, which is his main income source. And I believe they were the ones who paid his legal fees.
Good. I mean, I don't know. I think he's got a case to sue after all this. But I mean, who's going to hear him?
Persecution, but nobody's going to hear it. Yeah.
No, nobody will hear it.
It's
But
like
anyway.
CNN saying last night the GOP's case against Joe Biden is baseless. No, it was dismissed as baseless. Doesn't mean it is baseless.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. See you next week or whenever. Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Dr. Carvinez, you got to go too?
I
might as well go.
All right. Well, I'm just going to end it now.
I gotta leave.
I'll just end it and we can reconvene in the morning because, you know, I'm kind of tired too. It's been a long day. So, check out all of our links down below. We're going to hit the road, hit the hay. I'm going to bed. And then, you know, tomorrow morning we'll be live at 7 a.m. for Coffee and Gaming. So bring this on over to Hold Your Thoughts and come on over tomorrow morning right here on the men's room. We'll play some video games and have a good old time. We'll be back next Friday night, 9 p.m., just like normal. Laszlo, good show. Hey, good to see you, Laszlo. Haven't seen you around in a while. And then Dr. Coffin, you just said bye, which you can say that right, meow.
Goodbye.
Are you gonna say bye? All right, there you go. Thank you. All right, everybody.
Bye bye.
Good day, sir.
Later, dudes.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Hell, I got to go.
Peace out.
Burn in hell, New World Order. Fuck you. You, New World Order. You, Bill Gates.